Guys, this tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to draft a classic princess dart and a modified princess dart. There are different types of princess dart. You have the classic princess dart, you have the modified princess dart, you have the princess dart bustier. But for the sake of this tutorial, I am going to just be teaching how to draft a classic princess dart and a modified princess dart. Maybe the bustier can come later. So here is my pattern paper, and what I'm going to do, the measurements I'll be needing for this, I'm going to be listing it out before and when I'm going to be posting this. So here, 16 inches, my half length is 16 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and rule that line this way. So 16 inches. This is a classic princess dart. That's what we're drafting. So next thing I'm going to do now is to insert my shoulder. My shoulder measurement is 7 inches. I hope this is clear. So 7 inches, my shoulder measurement, and my armhole, 8 inches. Please, in case you don't know how to already draft a basic bodice, make sure you check on the channel for my tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice before you watch this, because it will help you further understand what we are doing here. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do this. Next, I'm going to insert all the lines that I need. The next line I need here is my bust point, and then my under bust of 13 inches, bust point 10 inches, under bust 13 inches. I will go ahead and I will connect these lines like so. So I'm going to go ahead and label them. My BP, which is my bust point, my UB, which is my under bust, and my HL, which is my half length. Okay, on this point, I'm going to come down here by 1 inch. Like I said, watch our tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice. It will help you. So here, 3 inches, 3 inches. I'm actually going to run this over because we already have how to draft a basic bodice on the channel. So this is what we have. So I'm going to be going ahead to divide this. Remember guys, fold over into 2 like this, and here, then here you go in by 0.75. Use your ruler, connect from here to here, and on the other one you just set this very well and connect from here to here. So this is what we have here now. So next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be inserting. So my bust measurement is 35. If I divide by 4, I will have 8.75 here. Because my under bust and my half length circumference of my half length is the same, the under bust circumference and my half length circumference is the same thing. So what I'm going to be doing is just to go ahead and insert that measurement, my under bust circumference measurement here, 7 inches. So I will connect from here to this point, and from here I'll just put this over like so to this point, like, you know. So this is my measurement here that I'm going to start working with. So I'm going to be inserting at this point. Now I need my bust span. Now your bust span is your measurement from one nipple to the other. So I'm going to be inserting my bust point, my bust span here. So my bust span will be, my bust span is 7 inches. When I divide it by 2, I have 3.3 inches. So 3.5 inches on my bust point. I'll bring the same 3.5 inches on my under bust and bring the same 3.5 inch on my half length. All right, so I'll bring in my ruler here and I will connect all the lines together. So next thing I'm going to be doing now is on this bust point. This is my bust point here. I'll be going down by 1 inch. I want to create my dart, so I'm going down by 1 inch first of all. Then here on this point half length, I'm going to be opening up by 0.75. Now please, if you're working for somebody who has a smaller breast, please go ahead and use half inch, open on half inch on each side. If you're working for somebody who has a much more bigger breast, please go ahead and open by 1 inch on both sides. So I will connect from here to this point and from here to this point, creating a dart. So I've gone ahead to do that. So once I was on doing this, the next thing I'm actually going to do now is to now get the measurement here. So what I'm going to do now to get the connecting measurement from this point to this point is that what I have here, I'm going to use my tape rule and I will go all the way like this. I will measure with my tape rule and I will see what I have there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this now. I hope you're seeing me. And I have 9 inches. Now if you're in doubt, you can go ahead and measure this again. Okay, so I have 9 inches. So that 9 inches, I'm going to be dividing it by 2. If I divide 9 inches by 2, I have 4.5 inches. That 4.5 inch plus 4.5 inches plus 1 inch. So automatically this means what you have, the measurement you have here, you got with your tape here, you will divide it by 2 plus 1. So mine is 9 inches. When I divide by 2, I have 4.5 plus 1, which is 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I will measure this just the same way that I did, and I'll mark my 5.5 here. So next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be connecting with my ruler a straight line from this point into the bust point. From this point into the bust point, okay? So I will connect from here into the bust point. Please don't get confused. So I've connected this into the bust point now. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead, just like I went down by 1 inch here. I'm going to go ahead and, go up by 1 inch on this side. Now, the reason we're going up and down is because we're trying to create more room for the breast in this place. All right. So once I was done doing that, I will go ahead and open up on each side by ½ inch. So which is what I'm going to be doing. Please, can you see what I'm doing? Let me not cover it. So ½ inch on each side. So half here and another half here. Okay. Then connect it, this to this with your straight ruler and this to this with your straight ruler. So I'm going to bring in my ruler at this point and I will connect that line like so. So from that point, from here to this 1 inch I went up by, and from here to the same 1 inch. So now once I was done doing this, next thing I'm going to do is definitely here is going to have a sharp edge. You can bring in your curve and use it to just create a very good curve there, or you could just go ahead and use your hand to create a very smooth curve, making sure that that point is no longer pointed. Okay, you can see what I've done here. I used my hand to do that, to erase every pointed part. All right, so once you're done doing this, the next thing you're going to do now, let's let this line show. Next thing you're going to do now is that now you're going to be measuring from this bust point to this point and measure the other side from here to here. You will realize that this part will be longer than this part because of the shape. If you look at it already, because of the shape, you see that this, as since this side goes down, it is shorter and this side is longer. So whatever difference you have, you are going to rise it on this point. All right, so I will go ahead and do mine. So I'm going to be measuring from here to this point. I have 5.5 inches, and from here to here I have 4.5 inches, which means the difference between the length of this one and the length of this one is 1 inch. So I will go ahead and add that 1 inch. Now I'll give you an expo. Anytime you measure this and this, you're supposed to have like 0.75 difference or 1 inch difference. If it's more than, or if maybe it's less than, then I think there's a problem somewhere. So I'm connecting this. You see the way I still kept it following this line. So I've connected into the 1 inch here. So now remember that when we're going to cut these parts, we're going to be cutting them off. I'm going to still be showing you how I'm going to cut this. So we're going to be, anywhere you see me mark this line, it means that that part is no longer a part of what we're doing. I'm going to cut it off. So now remember that when we measured from here all the way into this place, we had 9 inches. But remember, right now we have taken out 1 inch, half inch here, half inch here. It means that we have short this armhole. We have shortened the length by 1 inch. It's now 8. So you need to replace it. So I'm going to go ahead and come here and replace that measurement. All right. I'm going to come here and replace that measurement. Then I will bring in my curve and I will create a new armhole from here to this point. Please, one other thing that you need to note is that you need to really learn how to use these curves so that you can be deriving very neat curves. So now this is what we have here. So for this, remember that our underbust circumference, when we divided it, we had 7. Divided it by 4, we had 7. So now that's 7. Remember, we have removed 0.75 on this side and 0.75 on this side. It means that the length has been short by 1.5 inches, because if you add 0.75 to 0.75 is 1.5. So you need to replace it here also. So I will replace that 1.5. I'll bring in my ruler. I'm just going to draw a broken line here so that there's no confusion. Okay, so this is the replace that we've done. Then we'll go ahead and add our actual measurement. I'm using 2 inches allowance. Now please, like I always say, allowance is based on what you actually want. If you want, so here, this is our main. It's based on what you want. If you want to use 3 inches allowance, it's fine, it's okay by you. That's perfect. You want to use 1.5, you want to, whatever you want to use as your, or 1 inch, you go ahead and do that. But I usually do not advise anybody to use 1 inch. Instead, you use 1.5, or maybe you use like 2 inches at most. So I've gone ahead to replace it and I've marked my allowance, 2 inches allowance that I'll be using to cut this. And this is all it is for my princess, my classic princess dart. So I'm going to go ahead now and I will do the modified princess dart, and I'll show you guys what it looks like, what the difference is like. So let's just turn this paper over like this. So I've gone ahead to mark this, my lines, my half length. Let me label it. My BP, that's my bust point, my UB, my under bust, and my head shell, my half length by 2. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I'll insert it here like we did in the classic. I'll insert the same thing here and I will insert the same thing here. I will go in with my ruler here and I will connect all these lines together. Okay, so next I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch on this point. All right, like we still did, I'll come down by 1 inch on that point. Next thing, I would open up here. I will still use the same 0.75 that I used on that other one. Now for the classic princess dart, we connected from here to here, but for this one we're going to be making use of the under bust measurement. So on the under bust line here, I will be opening up by 1 on each side, like here, 1 inch, and also 1 inch on this side. That's for the modified princess dart. This creates some sort of contouring on the under bust. Now remember that how this is done is that if you use 1 inch here, like whatever you use here on the half length, just add 0.25 to it and insert it on the under bust here. Okay, so here I used them 0.75 here, 0.75 here, I added 0.25 to it, so it made it 1 inch. So that was why I did 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side. So I'm going to bring in my ruler now, and I will connect this to this and this to this. So now I will now connect from this point to this point, okay, and then from this point to this point. So this is what this one looks like. All right, so we have something like this. Are you seeing the difference? So we'll come on the armhole. The armhole area is the same thing. The only difference is watch this on the underbust area. So I'm going to measure what I have here, like we did for the princess, that we had 9 inches. I divided it by 2, which gave me 4.5 inches, plus another 1 plus 1, which gave me 5.5, which I came and I inserted on this point, and I will connect with my ruler into this place here. Okay, I connected it into this place. Then here now we're going to be going up by 1 inch like we did on the other one. So I'm going up by 1 inch here. Okay, then I will open up half on this side, half on this side, and I'll connect them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So half on this side and then half on this side, then I will connect those lines together. So I'm doing half from here to here, from here to here. Then I will bring in my curve, and I'm going to curve this part well. Okay, here, just watch. All right, now once I was done doing this on this part, I don't like this part being straight. Is somehow the human bust is not really straight in nature. So you bring this in and you're going to just use it just like 0.25 here. There's really no measurement for this. I'm just using this to show you guys. So you just do like 0.25 outwards, okay, and just use it to shape this into this place. To do something like this into this place, and then you shape it well. I don't know, my ink is pouring. It's pouring. I hope you guys don't get confused. It's actually pouring. All right, so this is what we have here. I don't know why it's pouring this much. Okay, so we have something like this here. Now you will come on this side, just the same thing you did for the classic princess, that just measure from here to this point. Whatever you have, you measure from here to this point, and you add that extra. And I have 1 inch here, which I'm going to be connecting to this point. Then, like I explained for the other one, you've lost some this thing on the armhole, measurements of the armhole, because of this ½ inch that you opened up by. So you have to replace it, which is what I'm going to do. I'll replace it, and then I'll create a new armhole from here to here. Basically the classified, and then I'll go ahead and add this measurement. Now, something that you must note, because the measurement here is bigger than the measurement here, you're going to be working with the measurement here. We have 2 inches, so you are going to be replacing it 2 inches here. Okay, so we'll mark our replacement, this one that we've replaced, this ones, and then we'll go ahead to mark our actual allowance. And I'm working with 2 inches. If you want to do more than, it's okay by me, it's okay by you. So that's that. So this is what we have for the modified. Now I'm going to cut this out, and I'll show you guys the difference between the two things that we have here. Okay, so yeah, this is the modified, this is a classic princess dart, all right, and then this is the modified princess dart. Let me keep this way. This is the classic and this is the modified. So basically the difference between these two is just this measurement here, this that you added here. And I said whatever that you have, you've inserted here, add 0.25 to it, and you add on this side and on this side. Like I did 0.75 on this side. I opened by 0.75 here. I opened by 0.75 here. So I did 1 inch here and 1 inch here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we will go ahead now and cut it so that you guys will see how it is being cut. So let's bring this now. So just watch me closely and see how this is done. So we'll go ahead. Let's start from the shoulder area. So we cut this out, and then this, and then this, and you stop here. Please don't exceed into this line. Okay, then I'm going to cut this like so. All right, so I'm cutting this and I'm cutting through into this place. This is one. Then I will go ahead and I will cut this, Remember, I cut this and I stopped somewhere here. I did not go through it because we have created a new armhole that we need to follow. So then I will cut this here. So this is what it is going to look like once we are done cutting it. So you see that those parts that I marked are out. So now when you place this on your fabric to sew, you will have to go ahead and add 1/2 inch on all of these parts. All right, add 1/2 inch also on all of these parts. Okay, 1/2 inch that you will need to sew it. So we'll bring this also the same way that we cut this. We just go ahead and just cut. This is basically how you're going to cut the other one. I think I'm going to get another color of marker that will help me indicate things like this. Then when you get to this point, that's how you're going to cut the other one. So you move this way and then you cut for that side. So let's do this. So this is what we're doing. We cut. So I had to turn it over so basically when you get here, you continue into this place. Be careful when you are at this point, please, so that you don't go and create a kind of curve that is not needed on this. Be very careful. So I've cut out this part. Then I'm going to go ahead and also cut out this other part. And we are done. Classic princess that this is your modified. Let's go ahead and this is modified. This is classic. So now you see what this looks like. Do you see what this looks like on the center point? This center is actually contoured, all right, but look at what this one went like a triangle. Okay, but this one went into this place and out, into this place and out. So this is basically all it has to take. If you're cutting this on your fabric, make sure that you put it on fold. You put on fold to, you know, cut them, because this is supposed to be 2 pieces. This should be 1 piece. This is 2 pieces. This is 1 piece. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and do make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you.